Well, what can you do down at Disney World without going to the parks? Today, we take a grown-up getaway down to Walt Disney World. This is the Mouse and Men, where we explore the grown-up side of Disney. And we are a podcast for you if you're going down to the parks or you're a Disney fan, but there's someone in your life or on your travel group that isn't a Disney fan. We're going to help you find some things that they'd enjoy under the Disney umbrella. Or if you yourself are not a Disney fanatic like us, that's fine. We're gonna help you find something that you're going to enjoy as well. And today, on this grown-up getaway, we're going to talk about some of our things that we'd enjoy to do or have done down at Walt Disney World. I am Bradley. I'm here with my co-caster, Chris. Chris, happy Tuesday.
Happy Tuesday, man. It's always nice to be talking about Disney, and especially when we're like, I think that when we started the idea of this podcast, it was in response to a lot of people who, when we would talk about our passion for Disney, they would go like, why Disney? Isn't that where you go with kids? And that kind of snowballed into what we have here today, which is like, we want to spread the passion and love for Disney, even to those, and especially to those that may not have that love thus far, because there's so much for anybody to do, as we often say on the show. And it just takes a little bit of research to find how you can have fun down at Disney World, even if you've never been and don't even want to go to the parks.
Right. So we're going to just run down a couple of our things. Now, a quick Google search can get you all sorts of top 10 things to do, 101 things to do, all sorts of lists without going to the parks. We're just going to highlight some of our favorites. So let's jump into this week's The Mouse and Men on our grown-up getaway. So Chris, start us off. What's something that you've done or would like to do outside of the parks? Because let's be honest, a lot of times we go down there and try to pack everything in. We may have a pool day or kind of a rest day. Some of us just skip that altogether, but it's important for adults to find something to do for them as well. It's their vacation too. Yeah.
2 years ago, when you and I went down, the last time I guess that you and I both were there, because of the pandemic keeping us from going more than we had planned to do, you and I stayed at Fort Wilderness. And one of the reasons that we went down there and we chose to stay at Fort Wilderness is we wanted to also experience things that you could do at Disney without necessarily going in the parks, to still have some fun and to encourage other people to go. And it was the first time that I had actually stayed at Fort Wilderness. I'd been there several times to go to the Hoop-Dee-Doo Review, which is a buffet style or a all-you-can-eat style dinner show there at Fort Wilderness that my family and we try to do every time that we go down there and stay at any length of time. But it was the first time that I'd actually stayed there at Fort Wilderness. Yeah. And it is so much fun. It is so outdoorsy. And if you have an RV or just a tent, you can find a lot or a spot for you. It's the cheapest way to stay on Disney. It's kind of the most action-packed thing, as far as you just come out of your tent or your RV and you're in the Central Florida wilderness, and you get to engage and have situations that involve just being in nature. And so my first recommendation is that if you like nature, if you like hiking, if you like being outdoors, there's absolutely something that you can do. Like, you can actually stay there and camp out. Instead of paying the hundreds plus dollars to have a room, you can do quite a bit better by staying at Fort Wilderness and camp out and enjoy that while maybe the rest of your family's off at parks, or just treat it as a good, safe place to have a camping vacation. It's a great place to start off with. It doesn't involve going into the parks at all.
Yeah. You can, at Fort Wilderness, you can go horseback riding. I believe that's where you can do archery lessons as well.
Exactly.
But I can't remember exactly. You can also rent a golf cart, which is really fun at the holidays, either Halloween or Christmas. Go around, because there are a lot of snowbirds that go down there and set up for several weeks, sometimes a month, and they decorate their campsites. That's really fun to just rent a golf cart and drive around, see all that. There's, as you said, Hoop-Dee-Doo Review. Lots of fun stuff to do there. It's a great place if you're staying there to go on walks, go for a jog, ride a bike, because there are lots of sidewalks and paths that you can go to explore Fort Wilderness. Yeah, I really love this area, and I love this as an activity without going to the parks.
Yeah. I mean, when you are in Fort Wilderness and you are in your spot, like you're in your location, it feels much like you would at any other kind of car camping destination. You pull your car right up, you pop your tent right out, and then you're enjoying s'mores within 5 minutes of arriving there. Or, like you've said, people bring huge, big RVs and they decorate them up, and they, especially for the holidays and stuff like that, it's like people set up and they come back down because they have been coming down to Disney to stay at Fort Wilderness, and they're around a lot of their friends that do the same thing from around the world. And so it's just a really cool place. Everybody's always friendly there. And again, with everything from archery to they have a petting zoo, to horseback riding, to getting on the golf cart, to all the nature trails they have. I mean, you could spend days and days there without doing anything necessarily Disney, but you're doing it within the confines of Disney. So that it's, again, you are with nature, so you have to deal with the elements in the way that wild animals, if you come into contact with them. But security wise, it's really safe because, you've got security guards, and you can't even get into Fort Wilderness unless that you show them your dining reservation or your location where you're staying. So it's a good, safe way to have an outdoor vacation that is Disney, but it doesn't feel like it when you're there. It just feels like you're having a good car camping experience.
Yeah. And I believe this is where the outdoor movies at night started. They've got generally Chip and Dale doing a s'mores around the campfire thing before doing a movie each night. So that's a lot of fun as well.
Yeah.
I think my first stop, if I'm planning a grown-up getaway, I'm not as big into this. My wife loves it, but a spa day or a spa.
Yeah.
And now, there are only a couple that are open on Disney property. There are a couple more that aren't open. The Senses at Saratoga Springs and at Grand Floridian are not open, but there are hours listed for Ship Shape over at Yacht Club, Mandara at Dolphin, and so you can go there and get a massage, get the spa treatment, just relax. But that's a good one if you've got a day that you're not going into the parks, even with kids there. Maybe mom and dad trade off. One of them's got the kids in the morning, one of them's got them in the afternoon, kind of thing. Or you make it a spa date and drop the kids at childcare or something like that. It could be a really fun getaway, really relaxing getaway, especially if you're hitting the parks for 4 or 5 days, really hitting it hard. You may need that massage just to recoup from all that walking and all that buzz just going on.
Yeah, man, I tell you, that's something that my wife and I have not gotten into as much until these days. Like now that we have a little bit more time margin, that we could do something like that, we are availing ourselves of those services more than we ever have before. But yeah, I mean, like people can just go for a massage and then it's like 30 minutes or an hour or whatever. But you factor in getting there and settling in and trying to get there early so you can just be relaxed. Even that's going to, lengthwise going to be a couple of hours, all the way up to all sorts of things where you get everything from scalp to full body to feet. Like there's all sorts of things that you can do to just take care of yourself. They can go a full half day to up to a full day at the spas of just enjoying yourself and taking it easy. But I'll be honest, like sometimes if I take a couple hours and get a massage, then I get a nice meal, and then maybe I sit down and read a book, a lot of the day has gone by and it's a very relaxing kind of day. And so I kind of treat those as spa days, even though it's just a massage, but the rest of my time around it, I'm just trying to relax as much as possible. So that's even like you can hit it at a couple of different financial tiers as well of what you can afford. That's a wonderful idea to make a spa day because there's so many there during normal operating procedures. And it looks like that right now there's several that are closed, but as things continue to open up, hopefully they'll all come back for us as well to choose from.
Yeah, yeah. So take your pick right now, Ship Shape or Mandara, and hopefully soon either one of the senses at Grand Floridian or at Saratoga Springs. It'd be an awesome little getaway.
Yeah, no, I completely agree, and that's one of those things that I need to check off my bucket list to do down at Disney because I've never gotten any sort of spa treatment, much less a full spa day. But I'd love to be able to just talk about that, and plus I get to relax to be able to speak on it. So it sounds like a win-win. For my next stop, it's kind of staying on the outdoorsy theme, which is when you're down there. In addition to what we were talking about a minute ago with staying at Fort Wilderness and kind of having a camping type experience, you can fish and go on fishing excursions. You can rent it. Like I'm looking right here that Disney has several different types of guided fishing excursions that you can choose from.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if you're more of an outdoorsy person, and again, some of the men, especially that you and I have talked to over the years of like, yeah, that's my wife takes the kids down there, but I've never been. And we're like, there's so much for you to do. And so like, if you're an outdoorsy kind of person, you can add fishing to it. So you can have a little bit of camping, a little bit of fishing, you could fish a little bit every morning while the fishing is good kind of thing, and then come back and tend the camp or go back to the resort, wherever you're at. So I think that fishing can be its own vacation, especially for those that maybe are observing their family members going inside the parks and they're looking for something to do themselves. So yet another thing that is there for the taking, but most of us going into the parks, we never take ourselves avail ourselves of those services that Disney offers.
Yeah. Well, my brother-in-law loves bass fishing. And so he has daddy-daughter dates and they'll go fishing on the pond behind their house. They love it. This would be a great thing for them. Father-son day. You could take your kids fishing and mom heads to the spa.
There you go.
It could work because there's not a whole lot more relaxing than just spending a morning or evening on the lake fishing. I love it. So yeah, that's a great thing. And like you said, there are different options for different guided fishing excursions, or you can just rent a boat and go fishing yourself as well. A couple different spots you can do that. I love it, Chris.
Yeah. Yeah. What about you? What's next up on your list?
So next up on my list, my wife and I generally, if we have an off day, we'll do this for kind of the second half of the day. We'll sleep in, maybe go to the pool, but then we'll go resort hopping. And before you could drive around, now to get to a resort, you generally have to have a dining reservation or some sort of reservation, like at a spa, something like that. But you can always just hop on the buses. So what we'll do is hop on a bus, go to a park entrance or Disney Springs, and then from there hop on the bus and hit all the resorts in that area. Or you can go like to Epcot and walk over to Boardwalk, Yacht and Beach Club. You can kind of get around that way as well. But resort hop, you get to go see the different resorts and just walk around them. It's really fun because the theming is so great. But resort hopping is really one of those things, and you don't have to hit all of them. Mm-hmm. Maybe you just pick an area, and maybe it's just the Boardwalk Yacht and Beach Club. That area right next to Epcot is fantastic. There's a lot to do. So you could kind of roll up a lot of stuff into that, especially at night. You've got Atlantic Dance Hall. You've got Jelly Rolls, Dueling Piano Bar. There are a lot of different things you can do. Watch a game at ESPN, get something to eat, something to drink, just walk around. Plus, you can also see the fireworks from there at Epcot. So
smart.
It's a great evening thing to do, but resort hopping is just a great thing to do any time of the day, anytime during your stay.
Yeah, sometimes I get overwhelmed with thinking of all the options that I have, and then I start trying to put them, enact a plan in a day, and realize that the day goes by so fast And so for you and I we've talked a lot about the idea that we love, like looking at architecture, thinking about the little details that go along with building a Disney park or a Disney resort, and think about the Imagineering that goes along with it. And so if you have an eye for some of those details, you go to a place, each one of these resorts are so well laid out and well thought out, and they're so beautiful in all the different theming and stuff. You could spend half a day just kind of walking around and looking with, barely going in many rooms outside of like the entryway areas that you are allowed to go in at these resorts. So you spend an hour or two walking around looking at these little details, maybe trying to find a couple of hidden Mickeys here and there. And then it's time for a meal. And by the time you're done with that, then maybe you hop to another resort. And so like you could spend a whole vacation of like going to 1 or 2 or 3 resorts a day while people are doing that kind of stuff and just learning. Ask a cast member, hey, is there anything here at this resort that I need to check out while I'm here? I'm just, taking it in. And so like as an architectural tour, that would be a lot of fun as well. But yeah, like you're saying, like if you say just the boardwalk / yacht and beach club area, maybe that's one day. And then the next day you try the Swan and Dolphin or something like that, just to soak all that in. I love the idea of resort hopping.
It's a lot of fun. Like I said, my wife and I do it. We've probably not done it every trip, but maybe every other trip we go down there. It's a blast. And we don't hit quite every resort, but we love seeing each one for different reasons. It's just so much fun.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, I completely agree with that. And especially the higher price to moderate hotels. There's so much to see. And even some of the value hotels, there's at least a lot of fun things to surprise yourself with. I can remember one of the times that we stayed at the Art of Animation, and I'd never been there before. And so I was really excited about how they even themed our walkways, going from our hotel or resort rooms all the way to the pool. I mean, we're walking past Lion King characters and all this kind of stuff. And then we get to the pool and it's themed out with Little Mermaid. And so it's so much fun to do and so many things to see. And again, a pool day, if you're already staying at a resort, you stay at that, you can go to that pool as much as you want to, and it doesn't incur any other costs. So being at the resorts is a wonderful way to spend a day, to relax, get some great food, and people watch as well.
So, Chris, what's next? What's number 3 on your list?
Number 3 on my list is something that we have talked about before, but since we are kind of putting it all under one banner of this episode, golf. There is so much golf to do, and you and I have taken ourselves up on mini golf, doing that. Wonderful mini golf experiences down there. But then there are 18-hole golf courses and resorts, and especially around the Shades of Green area, a lot of golf to choose from there. So if you're a golfer and the rest of your party is not, you can go down and have a different golf experience. I would say you could probably take 3 or 4 days and not, hit the same hole or mini golf hole at the same time. So golf is absolutely something that if that's something that you enjoy, you should take yourself up on that to say that you've done all the courses at Disney.
Yeah. And like you said, we have done the fairways at Fantasia Gardens, or Fantasia Fairways, and top 2 toughest mini golf courses in the world. I think it's the toughest one stateside, and it's arguably the second toughest. They say the toughest is in Dubai. It's a blast, and it is challenging. But then the non-mini golf options, quite good. And though I haven't tried it, I mean, I'm not a huge golfer. I've played some. I got a set of clubs sitting over there in the corner gathering dust. But yeah, somebody asked me to play at Disney World. I'd definitely go. I know the courses are going to be well kept because it's Disney. And what a blast. Get up early tea time, start your day with 9 or 18 holes. Sounds like a blast to me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And again, if you've got part of your party that wants to go inside the parks, but it just doesn't really appeal to you for whatever, kiss them goodbye, put them on a bus, and then get on your own bus and go play a nice 18 before they get home from the park. So I think it's a win-win because you get to go do what you love doing while the rest of your party is loving doing what they're doing. and it's just all in one location at the Walt Disney World Resort. So I mean, there's so much to do and so many other things that we could talk about, but just trying to broad strokes here. I think that outdoorsy kind of stuff, whether it's camping or fishing or golfing, are wonderful things. What do you have on your list?
Yeah. So
we haven't talked about thus far.
Yeah. So this will kind of wrap up mine. We'll hit some honorable mentions as we like to do. But that's ride the monorail and or the Skyliner.
Yes.
It's just relaxing. You can hop on the monorail, ride all the way around. We've talked about a monorail crawl, a Skyliner crawl. So you could do that as well. But just riding either one of them, especially at night, the monorail, if you time it right, there is the excuse me. There is a little light parade that happens on the bay that the monorail circles right there outside the Contemporary, outside Magic Kingdom. So it will actually stop. The monorail stops, so you can watch that for just a few minutes.
Oh, that's cool. I didn't know that. That's
it's
cool.
Only a couple minutes long. Yeah, I got lucky once, and now I try to time it if I've got a free evening. But it's cool. Yeah, it's a great view spot because it stops. And you're just sitting there watching the light parade there on the water. It's awesome. But there's so much to do. I mean, this kind of goes into resort hopping. You can hop off at the different resorts, get something to eat, get something to drink, just wander the resort. You can do any of that on the monorail loop or the Skyliner route. So check out either one of those. They're both attractions in and of themselves. But you don't need a park pass to do either one.
You know, I told this story on the show before, but it bears repeating since we're talking about the monorail specifically, is that when I was 18 or 19, the first time that I ever went to Disney without my family is that me and a couple of buddies were driving through the Orlando area on a road trip and decided to stop at Disney and see if we could sneak in. Again, we're 18 or 19 years old. We actually thought we would be able to pull this off. And we got on the monorail, and in my mind, since it had been several years since I'd been there, I thought, ooh, we're here inside Disney. And I think that the monorail drops us off inside the Magic Kingdom or inside of Epcot. Woohoo, we did it. How did we get on this thing? And then I just realized that they will very kindly put you right outside the gates, but not inside the gates. And like, oh, well, I guess we're going to be just driving the monorail around. And so, 18, 19 years old, me and a bunch of other dudes had a great day at Disney and barely spent any money. Certainly didn't go inside of any parks, but it was essentially going around the monorail and enjoying all that, looking at the sights and sounds and wishing that we could be in the parks, but we just couldn't afford it. And then we went to downtown Disney from there and had a blast at Disney Springs. And so again, for teenage dudes, we went down there and had a free day. We probably spent $20 a piece total for I think we may have seen a movie and we ate something, fast food type thing. And then we headed on on our road trip. But even teenage boys had a full day at Disney and barely spent anything because we couldn't afford to. And plus we didn't have our parents to give us more money that day anyway. But again, just the monorail. That's monorail and Disney Springs is all we availed ourselves of that day and had a blast.
I love it. So Chris, what are some honorable mentions, things that you would suggest to somebody going down there needing either a grown-up getaway or just some time, just some grown-up time, kid-free time?
Yeah. I mean, again, other things to do, some of the things we've talked about here on the show before, but just an honorable mention status, thinking about going on a vacation as a theme, like shopping. There's a lot of shopping that you can do at Disney that doesn't at least allow you, or you don't have to have a park ticket to shop. Downtown Disney or / Disney Springs is free. There's also, if you want to go off of Disney property and go to City Walk, which is Universal's version of Disney Springs, that's there and that's free. But you're also in the Orlando area. And so you have a lot of things that are maybe not necessarily Disney themed that you can avail yourself of. But Cape Canaveral's not too far. You've got all sorts of other resorts and attractions and amusement parks and stuff in the Disney or in the general Disney area, even if it's not Disney specifically. So shopping, outdoors, sports, the wide world of sports. Maybe you can go learn something like there. There are different types of places where you can go and just like hone your baseball skills or your basketball skills or those types of things. So there are all sorts of opportunities there that don't require you to get inside. So whether it's shopping tour or an eating tour, I mean, hundreds of places to eat. So, I mean, I'm kind of covering everything, but if you just have a passion for food or shopping, there's plenty of that you don't have to do to get inside of a park, or vice versa. You don't have to get in a park to enjoy those types of things.
Yeah, no, what about you? I agree. And really my honorable mentions all revolve around the resort properties, whether it's the one where you're staying or a different one. Get out and walk. I love on vacation slowing down and getting to exercise, because sometimes at home, even when I don't have anywhere to go because COVID has shut down a lot of things that I would want to do, made travel a little tougher. I don't have the time to exercise. I just get so busy with other stuff. So I don't get to go for a walk, go for a run, take a bike or rent a bike down there, bike around the resorts.
Totally.
But then I've said this before, I'll say it again. I love lounges. It's just, it's more relaxing than some of the busier restaurants on property. So if you can find a lounge at your resort, or excuse me, go resort hopping and find a lounge, get a drink or two, just get some appetizers. The appetizers, split them between you and your significant other or a couple of people, and there's dinner. And it's great. You get to sample a lot of different stuff. So those are kind of my honorable mentions, but there's a lot to do without
so
going
much
to the park. And I love the idea of a grown-up getaway. I mean, hotel prices really aren't that different than anywhere else. You know, your cheaper hotels, you're looking at $150 a night, depending on when you go, of course.
Yeah.
If you're going for a grown-up getaway, I encourage you, don't go during the summer. Don't go between Thanksgiving and like mid-January when schools are out. Don't go in that spring break time either. Go sometime, September, October, early November. Right now it's a little busier because of the 50th anniversary, but generally October is a great time to go down to the parks.
Yeah.
So go check it out. Go plan yourself a grown-up getaway. I think you'll really enjoy it. I know I would, without even having to go to the Disney parks, which is a big draw for me.
Yeah. Yeah. You and I, we made a 2 or 3 day trip and we went to Epcot, but that was it. Other than that, we did all outside of the park activities. And you and I spent a whole day at the resort at Fort Wilderness and had a blast. We went swimming. We went on a long run. We could have done things like getting a golf cart or a bike. And again, that was a whole day, 2 dudes just hanging and enjoying around. I remember walking back to our campsite at one point and there were just turkeys everywhere. So there's so much wildlife you can enjoy. So just because you hear that you're going to Walt Disney World does not mean it's all going to be Mickey Mouse and princesses the whole time. You can make it whatever you want to. And I think that that's the beauty of Disney. Exactly.
And that's going to lead us into this week's plussing. So for plussing this week, it's simply add something for you on your next trip. Whether you're going with a group of friends, find something that you'd enjoy and suggest it. Hey, would anybody want to go on a bass fishing excursion, for a couple hours? Would anybody want to rent bikes and go ride around the resort? Or, hey, I want to go get a massage. Does anybody else want to have a spa day, spa afternoon with me? Or if you're going down with your kids, plan something either just not in the park, like y'all all go to Fantasia Gardens or Fairways and try your hand at some mini golf. Go over to Winter Summerland. You can do a lot of things with your family as well. Go watch the game over at ESPN. You can do that with the whole family as well. But just think outside the parks. I think you'll really love it. I think your family will enjoy it. And it's going to be a lot nicer on the pocketbook than another day in the parks.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I've gone down there in the fall and then on a Saturday watched my favorite college football team. Yeah. And, went to the ESPN club there at Boardwalk, and me and my brother and my dad, we all just we shared some appetizers and we got sodas. And so I think that all three of us went there, and for about $50 or so, we watched the entire football game and enjoyed ourselves. Tipped well, since we were just going to be parking and, camping out at that one table. But for a $50 for three guys for 4 hours, that's a great, very financially inexpensive way to spend a half day at Disney. Yeah. And again, we stayed in one spot. We enjoyed our favorite team. We had a blast. We ate some appetizers and again, barely spent any money when you compare it to other ways that money drains from your pocketbook down at Disney. So $50 for 4 hours split between three people is a really good value when you're in Disney World. So all of these things, yes, when you are down there, and even if you are just kicking booty and taking names and really being there for the rest of your family, sometimes you just need to take care of yourself. Yeah. And so find something like, hey, you guys go to the parks this afternoon. I'm just going to go get a quick massage to just take care of me, so that I can be there that much more for my family when you get back all together. Or, hey, nobody else likes seafood. I really love seafood, so I'm going to go to the seafood buffet while you guys all go enjoy something else, because I want to tick this off my list while I'm at Disney as well. And so, yeah, finding little things that maybe you want to do that the rest of your party doesn't, or that you really want to do to bring your anxiety and stress down while you're there. It's a wonderful thing to take care of yourself. Because again, if you are that much better and more revived and you're doing things that you like, you'll be that much more present for the rest of your family during these memory-making opportunities on vacation. So take care of yourself while you're down there. And you can do a lot of things that don't require spending a lot of money at Disney at all, whether it be just going on a nice long walk or taking some time, put in the earbuds and just like everybody else, go leave the room and just sit there and just listen to something tranquil or listen to an audiobook or something, and take care of yourself while you're down there, because it's expensive. It's a lot of time and energy and money, and you want to preserve all of that so that you can be the best you can be for everyone around you. Yeah.
So if you've got any ideas on something that we left out, let us know. You can find us online at The Mouse and Men on all your favorite social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, also on YouTube. Leave a comment there of what we're leaving out. But we hope this has helped you, whether you're planning a trip with someone who's not a Disney fan or you're not a big Disney fan yourself. There's something there for you. This is The Mouse and Men, where we explore the grown-up side of Disney. And we like to sign off with this encouragement. You don't want to grow up too fast.
But you got to keep exploring.